What's up YouTube? Have you ever wondered why it is so important to focus on the user of a design while you are designing? Well, that's what we're here to talk about today. Welcome back, my name is Ben Nielsen. I'm a media design educator, and today we are talking all about user-centered design and why it is so important for new designers to get this concept. This is part of our ongoing series on the 4 most difficult concepts for new designers. So far in that series, we've done a video introducing the 4 difficult concepts, and then we've done a standalone video on sketching and a standalone video on iteration, the first 2 concepts. So go ahead and make sure that you check out those other videos as well if you haven't already. So today it is all about user-centered design. So the key to this concept is to understand that it is never about you as a designer. As a designer, you should be like Tron in that old movie of the same name, where when they introduce Tron, they say,
"That's Tron, he fights for the users."
As a designer, that is your job, to fight for and design for the users. So at this point, we need to draw a really clear distinction between the concept of art and the concept of design. Now, both art and design are really valuable and creative pursuits, but they are not the same thing, and we should not confuse them together. The way that we're going to be referring to them puts them into 2 separate and distinct camps. The difference is that art is something that the artist can do for themselves. The artist can do what feels good to them, whereas design is something that's going to be focused on creating a function for the user of the design, which is not the person designing it. That is the difference between art and design. So as an example, let's say that one day you're just feeling very frustrated and upset, and you want to create a piece that will express your frustration. That's going to be art. You're going to create that piece for yourself, and you're going to do what you feel. Now, on the other hand, let's say that you want to make a flyer for your neighborhood picnic. Okay, that's going to be design, and you want to think about the users of that flyer, because when somebody receives that flyer, there are some things that they really have to understand in order for that flyer to be effective or to be useful. 1, they need to understand that there's a picnic going on. If they don't get that, then nothing else matters. 2, they need to know where the picnic will be held. They need to know where to go. And 3, they need to know when the picnic will be held. They need to know when to go there. If any one of those 3 pieces is missing, then you haven't focused on the user and what they need out of the design. Or if it's just difficult for the user to get that information from the design because of whatever you, the designer, did to it, then you aren't servicing the user. You are making life more difficult for them. And so if they can't get the information they need from the design, you shouldn't have created the design in the first place. It won't matter how cute or awesome that flyer is if they can't get the information out of it, right? That's not the purpose of design, to be cute or awesome or funny or anything like that. Those things can help, but only if they're driving towards the goal of helping the user to do something or receive something. So before you start designing, always get as clear as you can on why you are making the design. This is true no matter what field of design you are in. If you're in graphic design, you're probably going to want the user to do something because of the graphics you create. If you're in experience design, you're probably going to want the user to feel something because of the experience they go through. If you're in instructional design, you're going to want the user to learn something as a result of the instruction. And this is true of every other field of design, of which there are many, many. But you need to get clear on what you want the user to get out of the design. So always make sure you're doing that first. Once you have that goal in mind, everything else you do in the design can drive towards it. And that doesn't mean that it won't be cute or it won't be funny or it won't be epic. It may be, but those things will all be in service of driving towards the goal. Now, one other thing that we really need to clarify here is that clients and users are often not the same. The client is the person who hires you to do a design, and generally they are hiring you in order to help their users do something or to let their users know about something or whatever. And so you need to talk to the client and determine what they want their users to get out of the design. And then you, as the designer, need to fight for the user, because that's your job. The client often won't understand user-centered design and will often actually make suggestions that actually go counter to the thing that they want their user to do. And it's your job to be like Tron and fight for the user. So as you're going through the design process or you're showing your design to others for feedback, be really watchful for qualitative words. I've already mentioned these quite a few times, but things like cute or pretty or epic or awesome, those kinds of descriptions of a design generally tell you that you are veering away from your objective user-centered design approach and more into art, where you're doing something that makes you feel good as an artist. Another telltale sign of this is if you find yourself putting stuff into the design just to fill space. If you put something there and someone asks you, why is that there? And you say, well, because that space was empty. That is telling you that you as a designer are afraid of white space.
You're afraid.
And you aren't focused on your user's needs. Instead, you're trying to cover up for your own fear of white space by shoving more things into the design that won't necessarily help your user. In fact, they will probably hinder the user. So if you ever find yourself going down any of these roads, just take a minute, back up. Look back at why you are actually doing the design and what you want to accomplish with it. And then look at your design and make sure that everything you have in there is driving the user towards that goal. So why is it so common for new designers to not be centered on the users? Well, really, it's because nobody probably ever taught them to be. That's the main reason. Many people end up getting into design because somewhere along the road, someone told them,
you're pretty good at art.
And because they were good at art, they should do something with that. And then someone else told them, you can't make any money as an artist. And because of that, they decided to go into design because it seemed like something that they could use their art for and still make money at. And as a result, they approach things with an artist mindset, doing things for themselves instead of for the user. And unfortunately, so many design programs in colleges and universities are still housed within the School of Fine Arts, which just further perpetuates this because many of the professors who are teaching design are not actually designers, they're artists, and they don't teach user-centered design principles in their design classes, and this just perpetuates the cycle. So the key is both designers and design professors need to get over themselves and start actually designing for the user, and only then can they make truly great designs. Okay, that's about it for this video, but I want to hear from you. Tell me, before this video, have you been introduced to the concepts of user-centered design and why they are important to you? And have you used these concepts in order to make your designs more effective? Thank you so much for watching. We'll chat in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.